Hey everybody, this is Catherine, the Chubby Adventurer. I hope everybody's having a great day. Today's episode is going to be about motivation. But before we get started, please hit that like button, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, cat.thompson2585. And please leave me a comment if you have any questions and have any ideas of what I should do next. So anyway, today is about how to get motivated. Motivation is the key to achieving our goals. We kind of derive it from our why, and we're going to bring all of this together today. So with that, we're going to discuss how to get motivated. My motivation has been basically, getting fit, getting healthy, just so I can have a better life later down the road. I'm about to be 36 years old in come August, and right now I haven't really felt very great. It's just kind of one of those things where I know my body's going to give out the longer I go at my current weight. So this week I haven't been very good on my diet, which is kind of, defeats the purpose of this podcast. It's supposed to hold me accountable. However, I have kind of reassessed my goals and what I want to do, and I have, kind of charged back forth into it. So, starting today, I really, plunged back deep into how my diet needed to be and my exercise and all of that. So I'm getting there. And what I did was to get remotivated, I looked at my goals, pictured where I want to be in 3 to 6 months from now, how I want to look, how I want to feel, everything, what I want to be able to do, the hikes I would like to go and do. I was talking to my friend, and next year I kind of want to go to Machu Picchu, I think I said that right, and do that hike, which is actually a few-day hike. I think it's about 3 days is what people usually do, and it's kind of camping and all that stuff, and it's a lot of uphill, then downhill, then uphill, so it's a lot more strenuous than Half Dome is even. So that'll be one of my adventure episodes coming up, maybe next year or so. However, getting motivated is just it's easy at first, but what is the hard part is staying motivated and keeping in that mindset. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to keep pushing through. Even when you hit, like for me, since this is about weight loss for me, when I hit a plateau, I get so discouraged, and I feel like nothing I do is helping, and I'm just not moving forward, and I'm not getting to where my goal is, and I feel like something's wrong with me and I'm doing something wrong, and it's not always the case. Your body plateaus, and that's natural, and it's okay, and we need to, step back and just kind of be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. Don't get discouraged. Stop looking at the scale. Maybe look at my, measurements instead, and see if maybe I'm losing fat but gaining muscle, and see if that's where I'm losing the weight. But it's one of those things where if you don't see that number dropping on the scale, and you have been working your butt off, you've been eating really healthy and not, indulging on anything like junky, and you've been working out every day, you don't see anything moving, you just get this feeling of dread. And I've been there so many times, and I actually was just in that spot again this last weekend. It's hard. It's really hard, and it's really hard on us mentally to just keep pushing forward, especially for somebody like myself who I guess you could say I suffer from somewhat of a food addiction. I wouldn't call it quite an addiction, but it's something that I guess I do turn to when I'm bored or really sad or really pissed off. Sometimes when I'm really pissed off, I won't eat at all. or if I'm really pissed off, but in an emotional state, I will eat too much. So it's just kind of one of those things where I need to figure out my balance. So getting motivated is one of the hardest things to do. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. Getting motivated is easy. Staying motivated is the hardest part. And what I do, and what I found that has helped me, is I joined a group of, they're actually entrepreneurs and they're athletes, and they just, they're not really telling us like what we need to do with our health and all of this stuff, but there is some videos where they do share this kind of stuff with us, like, with health wise and all that stuff, and all three of them are athletes, and that group that I'm in is called BYLR. It's Build Your Life Resume, which is kind of what I'm doing, is I'm kind of building my life resume. I want to go hike Half Dome, I want to skydive, I want to go to Machu Picchu, I want to, maybe go on a cruise and feel okay in a bikini for once in my life. Who knows? But these three gentlemen, it's Mark Brown, he was a former NFL player, Chad Wright, who was a former Navy SEAL, and Jesse Isler, who is a serial entrepreneur, married to the woman who created Spanx. Thank you, Sarah Blakely. We all love you. And he was a former rapper, writes books, is complete health nut. He's actually introduced me to one of the books that I will recommend later in this podcast. But every week I listen to these three guys, and they bring on guest speakers every now and then, and they're great. I always feel better about myself the day after I hear them all talking about something, and they're just so passionate about what they do, and they just kind of re-amp my motivation to be my better self, be the better version of myself. And something that I will quote them probably often on this podcast is, we do not negotiate our goals. And when you negotiate your goals, you're basically telling yourself that it's okay to break a promise to yourself when you would never do that to somebody else. So, for example, at work, I'm committed to doing, X, Y, Z. And if I tell my boss I'm committed to this, I will get it done. But when I tell myself, okay, I'm committing to this, I'm going to do it, and I don't do it, what does that say about me? What does that say about what I feel about myself? And basically what I'm saying is, it's okay for people to treat me less than I am because I treat myself less than I am. So when I say don't negotiate your goals, that hit me really hard. And I took that, and it was like, my goal is to do this. My goal is to go here. And that's basically how Half Dome in my mind became a possibility for me. Now again, we don't have our permit for Half Dome yet, so I might get all the way up to just by the cables and, not be able to go up because, we didn't get the okay from the government to do it. But you can bet your ass that I will actually figure out a way to get up those cables one way or another. If I have to, bribe somebody to give me their permit or something, I will do whatever I can. And if I don't get to go up there, it's not because I chickened out. It's not going to be because I couldn't physically make it. I am going to make it, come hell or high water. So, and other things that keep me motivated. So I know I said don't, watch the scale, but I watch the scale like a hawk, and I know if I've had something that might be a little too salty one day, that I know that I need to drink a little bit extra water in the coming days and stuff like that. Just little things that I know how to tweak my body to make sure that I'm staying at optimal, weight loss per week. Like I said, I've kind of fell off the wagon for the last weekend or so, and it was because I was thinking, I could probably eat bread after this big old hike, and I really can't. I've found that there are certain carbs that my body does not do okay with. I don't do okay with rice. I don't do okay with brown rice. I do fine, actually, with potatoes. Not like the russet potatoes. I mean, like the little red potatoes, the little tiny yellow and purple ones. Those types of carbs I do very well with. I even do very well with oatmeal. But, sourdough bread, which is one of my weaknesses, I do not do well with. So I've kind of learned what I need to stay away from. So, once we kind of get those ideas of what we need to stay away from, we know that we have to cut them, not completely out of our lives, but we need to cut them for a good portion of our life. Maybe do 2 weeks out and do a cheat meal. And I try not to do a cheat meal. My cheat meals, I try to keep them like still super healthy, but kind of have that one little carb that I really like in it. If I have a salad at dinner and I haven't had my cheat meal in a couple of weeks, I might have a piece or 2 pieces of sourdough bread, just because that's one of my loves. I love bread. I guess it's the Italian in me. I don't know. But, here's the thing, and I always have to tell myself, like, don't be discouraged by the number on the scale. I have been slowly reducing my body fat, and what I would thought that I would have started off at, like, the 40 or 50% range with my body fat. I actually didn't. I started out in the mid to high 30s, and now I'm at the very bottom of the 30s. I'm almost into the 20% range. It's just, I've always been a big girl. I have, the catcher thighs, I guess is what you can call it. When I played softball, I, got really big legs from that. But I've also found that when I start to get discouraged by the scale, I start emphasizing my measurements. And I do take my measurements every week, and I record my weight every week. And if one is lower than the other, that's fine. If the scale is a little bit lower than my measurements, the next week, I kind of question it a little bit. But as long as my measurements are going down, even if it's just a fraction of an inch, it's something. That's what I want to see. I want to see that I'm getting stronger, I'm getting, leaner, and I'm going to be able to go further and further. So in preparation for Half Dome coming up, I have a 11-mile hike. We're going to try to do 11 miles. We're really going to try to shoot for 12 miles, but sometimes we kind of fall short because we miscalculate how far we've gone. So the goal is, no matter what, 11 miles. And then, we'll add 1 to 2 miles on every weekend until Half Dome, which is only about 5 weeks away from the recording of this podcast. So we're getting there very quickly. And what else I'm doing to prepare for that, there's a whole bunch of steps at Half Dome. I believe it's the Mist Falls. I think it's like first 2 miles is stairs, and I get winded going up a little tiny hill. So my friend and I are getting a gym membership, and we're going to be just doing the stairs, and that's it. So basically right after work, we're going to go right to the gym and start doing stairs, and the goal is to get to the point where we can do the stairs consistently for an hour in the next 5 weeks. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but that is the goal. And like I said earlier in this podcast, I do not negotiate my goals. So somehow, some way, by the end of May, I will be doing like an hour just fully going on the stairs without stopping. Right now, I know I'm going to have to stop pretty often. And however long it takes me so I'll measure the first workout by how long it takes me to stop the first time, and then every day I'm going to start adding 2 to 3 minutes onto that. Other things that I wanted to talk about on this was find a group of people. Like I said, I have the BYLR community. Just find a group of people that motivate you, that, you know, kind of bring you to that, yeah, I'm going to do it. Yes, I can do this. And just are your biggest cheerleaders, whether they know you or don't know you. It's easier if they know you, because then they can call you out on your BS. That really does help when somebody can call you out and say, hey, you know, you said you were going to do this. You're not keeping up to your word. What kind of friend would I be if I didn't say something to you? Get a personal trainer. Do what you need to do in order to get your life on track. Whether that's health, fitness, you know, the fitness area, or, you know, personal finance. Just find somebody to help you to get you where you want to go in life. It is kind of hard to ask for help. I understand that, but we find that once we find those people that they don't mind helping you, they actually want to help you. It makes them feel better about themselves, and it's kind of a win-win situation, because you're making somebody feel good by you needing to lean on them, or, you know, and you're starting to feel good because you have somebody to lean on, or to help you and just kind of get you to where you want to go. For me, for the longest time, one of my really good friends, her name's Noelle. She is a bodybuilder. She's the one who got me hooked on the bodybuilding diet back when I was 25, like 10 years ago. And we got a new coach, and it just didn't work out for me. Didn't really work out for her either with this coach, but it is what it is. And I just kind of went hog wild and ate whatever I want and gained a ton of weight back. Gained all the weight that I lost back, and then some once I moved up to Sacramento. So, but she was kind of my rock, and she kind of held me accountable, and we had a really good time, you know, getting to where we wanted to be, and until, you know, we both stopped, or she didn't stop. She kept going. She's an amazing bodybuilder now. Like, she's gorgeous. Anyway, but for me, I stopped, and I got discouraged because I felt like something was wrong with me. Actually, my coach asked me, what's wrong with you? This diet works for everybody. Why isn't it working for you? And that kind of broke me a little bit. I wasn't really mature enough, I guess, because now if somebody said that to me, I'd just kind of be like, F you, dude, what's wrong with your freaking diet? Why isn't it working for me? I'm paying you to figure this out and to help me, not to sit here and shame me. So, you know, make sure that you tailor your diet to what you need it to be for you and your body. If you're losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, that's great. My doctor says that you shouldn't be losing more than 2 pounds a month, but when you're as overweight as I am, 1 to 2 pounds a week is okay. Just kind of remember what your goals are for your motivation. It helps you keep you motivated. It pushes you forward. So like I said, this week I kind of had to stop, and like, I have a vision board that I keep right next to my desk and right next to my bed. That kind of reminds me, like, I want to be able to do this. And I have a picture of Half Dome and the cables and the route of Half Dome on this vision board. And it basically just kind of tells me every day, like, hey, you're training for this. It's only 5 weeks away. You're not in you're not in good enough shape for this just yet, but you need to kind of get there. And so it just reaffirms everything that I try to tell myself. And, you know, this is going to happen. Like, I mean, this is happening. We've already paid for our cabin. We've already got the park access. We just need the permit to go up the cables. So that's going to be the last bit of this, but either way, we're going no matter what. So, and those little bits of hikes from the bottom to, I think, Nevada Falls or Mist Falls, Vernal Falls, Little Yosemite, that's a huge hike in and itself. this whole thing round trip is going to be approximately 17 to 18 miles. We're coming back on the John Muir Trail just because I have crappy knees. I don't want to go downstairs. I know that the first portion of the hike is all stairs, like I said it earlier. And coming down the stairs is a lot harder on your knees than it is going up. So we're going to go back down the John Muir Trail, which is just a bunch of switchbacks. But it adds 1.5 miles to the hike on the way back. So, that's going to be 17 to 18 miles. This past weekend when we did the 9.5 mile hike, my friends were way ahead of me. And I mean, they were like maybe 50 to 100 yards ahead of me. And I was just like, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to make it. And then in the back of my head, I heard, my community telling me, we do not negotiate our goals. And I just kept chugging forward and I got it done. And, the whole time, like, I'm enjoying the walk and I enjoy the scenery around me. I just did not enjoy the way that my body felt, which kind of sucked. So, last that I want to talk about on this podcast today are a couple of books that I really love. One is called Fit for Life. It's by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. Harvey was exposed to Agent Orange, and he swears by this diet that he talks about in this. It's fruit till noon and all this sort of stuff, and kind of went vegetarian, vegan-ish, and just, really kind of makes you think about what you put in your body. Full disclaimer, I'm not a vegan, I'm not vegetarian, I like meat, and I'm kind of debating doing the vegetarian thing. I'm not sure. I would like to experiment with it. That might be a podcast show or season that I do where I go vegan. Yay! We'll see. I don't know if I can do that to myself, but hey, you never know. This is all about adventure, and I think going vegetarian would be an adventure, so we'll see. Next book I want to recommend. This one's more for fun. It's actually from the BYLR community, Jesse Itzler. He lives with a seal for a month, and this one I 100% again recommend getting it on Audible. He is freaking hilarious. He lives with a Navy SEAL, or this Navy SEAL comes and lives with him and his family for a month, and he just does all these workouts like he's training with a Navy SEAL. And this man is a Navy SEAL that kind of pushes him in his workouts. And it's just, I mean, you can't help but laugh, but at the same time, you can't help but just admire his pure, adrenaline and just gusto to not negotiate his own goals. And he even says in the book, like, I really don't want to do this anymore, but he continues forward, and it's great. He narrates it himself. He's funny. Seriously, follow him on Instagram, find his books. Hilarious guy. So that's all I had for today. So I hope everybody likes this video and this podcast today in the show. Please, again, give me the thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment. Follow me on Instagram, cat.thompson2585. Send me emails or whatever. Just reach out to me, guys. I would love to hear from you. So until next time, I hope everybody has a wonderful day.